Okay. And Apostle Larry Lee Thomas just joined us. Fresh off the boat from or the plane from Kenya.
Um, may I also recognize, I believe I'm seeing two newish members. Mr. Brown, I think we've introduced before. It's good to see you again. Ms. Rawlinson, I've been seeing your membership and your emails. Thank you very much. Ms. Telfer, thank you for joining us and thank you for your interest in the Education Committee. Jen Sell, welcome back. It's good to see you virtually. Have I got all of our guests and new members identified?
Well, Abby Ellicott is joining us in person.
Haha.
Yeah.
Hello.
So let's get approval of the agenda. Make it a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion that the agenda be approved, pending any corrections.
Motion from Ralph Thomas to approve agenda. There's second.
Second.
Second from. Okay, second. Got 2 seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Hearing none. The agenda is approved. Minutes of the previous meeting.
Well, therein lieth a hole, which I will be, I pray, addressing over the Christmas break. There are multiple missing minutes. I would, however, like to raise a question around this. We have become very rigorous about making sure our audio records have all the necessary information and the meetings themselves are posted online. Those contain the body of what's actually happening, and they're available for members who are interested. And I've already referred new members to them. The minimum requirement for written minutes are motions made and the outcome of those decisions, I should say. Action items should be recorded as well, and then attendance of officers at executive committee meetings. I would like to propose that we minimize the written minutes down to those elements that are the basic essentials by NAACP polity for action-based minutes, and then refer to the recordings for the rest of it. I propose this out of self-interest for myself and Assistant Secretary Stansberry.
I understand your proposal, and we can talk about it after this general body meeting that might be able to come to a better decision.
Thank you.
And the issues that are going on, everybody's wanting to see the minutes. So we will, I guess, approve the minutes pending submission. And so we can go to reports of officers, and my written report, I have to pull it up for you guys.
To pull it up?
Yeah, you get into.
I can try. It's gonna look tiny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I went to the Annapolis City Council meeting a couple weeks ago to witness the first meeting of the new Annapolis City Council. I also attended the Anne Arundel County Council meeting as well this past week. I did not submit any testimony at the Annapolis City Council meeting, but I have received 2 complaints regarding hiring issues and retention issues, race-related issues at within Annapolis, the city of Annapolis. So we're working through how to solve some of that issue between talking with the city council members, and we may have to go public with some of these concerns are. so that we can get a better understanding or shed a little bit more light, because it does seem to be moving kind of fast for some of the Black women who are under threat of losing their jobs at the city of Annapolis. So one of the things that we're asking for after we saw the firing of Mike Lyles, the city attorney, was that we wanted to see a moratorium on any future firings for 90 days. So we want to make sure that we can at least sort through some of the issues that people are having, that we've received complaints about. And the city attorney did offer opinions on these current issues. So with the new city attorney, we may get different opinions about what's happening right now. So we want to be able to make sure that we're involved in that discussion, and that people aren't being subjected to the opinions of a prior attorney who was let go within the first few days of the administration. So that's one aspect of it. See why I was at the City of Annapolis meeting. And then from the county council, we submitted testimony on one of the council bills, was 9225. It's a bill on cottage homes or tiny homes legislation. So we're trying to increase the supply of housing, affordable housing in Anne Arundel County, because we're at a severe deficit. And so one of our ways to do that was support this bill. Though we have received some amendments that will be added to the bill. We also have some amendments that we may want to see added to the bill that we received from members about HOA involvement, and making sure that HOAs aren't used as sort of a policing strategy, for living while Black, forcing people out of tiny home developments that haven't even been built yet. So we want to make sure that there's an opportunity for those amendments to be heard, those concerns to be heard by our county council member, Pete Smith, who introduced this bill. And that first public hearing was on Monday. And so the next public hearing will be in January at the next county council meeting. So those were two meetings that I attended on behalf of the NAACP at the county level. I did want to congratulate our delegate, Jocelyn Pena-Melnick, who has been elected the Speaker of the Maryland State House, which she attended our Freedom Fund back in November, and she has been a staunch defender and supporter of the NAACP in Anne Arundel County as long as she's been a delegate. And she actually received the President's Award in 2019 during that Freedom Fund. So we congratulate her for her participation in that and work participation. Then I also attended the Stop Dirty Data Summit that was held last week in DC. The Stop Dirty Data Summit was a convening of experts and NAACP members from around the nation on data centers and their impact on Black communities and the environment. And so our former Maryland State Environmental Justice Chair, Stacey Hartwell, represented the state of Maryland on a panel regarding data centers. And we do have data centers here in Anne Arundel County. We have one, I know, that is right next to the NSA that's owned by Microsoft. And that is, they're building out what they call the Annapolis Junction Business Park, which has quite a few defense contractors. And so there's a 3-story data center over there But, we also have the NSA, which is one of the largest data centers in the world. And they also have a huge one that the NSA does in Utah. So they use a lot of water, and they also run some of these data centers off of gas turbines. And that's where it came to the awareness of the NAACP in Memphis, and Aubrey Connor, who is the environmental justice, the director of environmental justice for the NAACP. She's an attorney. She helped to slow down a data center from being built in Memphis that was placed directly in the Black community, that had gas turbines running 24/7, was destroying the community's air and water. And it was run by XAI, which is Elon Musk's company. And so that was really the spark of this data center discussion. And we've seen how they're looking for cheap land in Black communities to be able to put their terrible industrial centers. Unfortunately, I learned during the meeting that many of these industrial properties are being zoned as commercial. And so they're not being properly zoned, and then they're being allowed in places where there would not be industrial, but since they're declared commercial, that's where they're being placed. And so this is a big issue that's popping up around the country. And we saw here in Maryland, the Maryland legislature had to overturn the governor's veto of a study on data centers from the last session. So last session, the MGA passed a bill to create a study on the impact of data centers, and the governor vetoed it. And then so the MGA just met in a special session where they voted for Delegate Peña-Melnick to be the speaker, and they also voted to overturn the governor's veto on that data center study. So this is a very important conversation that we're having right now that Anne Arundel County could be directly involved in as well. Another veto that was overturned, which I had to comment on to the Maryland State Conference of the NAACP, was on reparations and the reparations study committee. The NAACP was directly named in the legislation on line 17 of the bill that passed the Maryland State Legislature on reparations, on the reparations study committee. So we have a seat at the table on this study commission, on this commission to study reparations. So likely this commission will come out with a bill. It's not just something that is studying reparations, it's how do we get a bill passed through the legislature on the issue. And so they will have the legislation, just as in California, they had 5 bills that came out on reparations from their study commission. So we likely will have bills coming out of this commission on reparations. So that's something that I've been advocating to our previous state conference president that Anne Arundel County be the unit that is seated on that reparations study commission. And it's timely, especially with this apology for slavery that the county executive did, that we had to remove our names from, so that we could have some reparative action and show that reparative action is necessary. So this is something that I think also we have an opportunity to be engaged in. Hopefully, through our advocacy as a unit, we can have someone from the Anne Arundel County branch be represented on that commission. And I urge you all to email Chair Peña-Melnick or Speaker Peña-Melnick as well. She will have the opportunity to see people as well as the other NAACP presidents, who the 4 main people that we would address are the caucus leaders, because they've divided the state conference into 4 caucuses. And those are the Howard County chair, Lily Flowers, the Charles County chair, Diota Sweat, and there's the Eastern Shore, and I think the Allegheny County president is also the chair of the Western Maryland caucus. So those are the people who are more than likely going to be deciding who's going to be on that commission representing the NAACP. So hopefully we can get the Anne Arundel County NAACP involved in that primarily as well. So I think those are my main points that I wanted to hit on. In regards of action items, we have the session coming up, and we did get a first draft together for our legislative agenda on housing, education, workforce development, DEI in the workplace, and housing, education, workforce development, and what's another one? There's another one. It's slipping the top of my mind, but we got to make sure we talk about reparations and the data centers as well. So those are the things that I wanted to bring to you all for the moment. And I see Dr. Gomez is on the call. Dr. Gomez was instrumental in inviting Chair Pena-Melnick when she was the chair of the Health Committee at the State House to speak with the Anne Arundel County NAACP as well. And so it's good to see you on this Saturday, Dr. Gomez, and I can't wait to hear you speak on the Health Committee. So are there any questions regarding my report?
I have a comment for you. Thank you for the welcome. The allusion to the data center, I just want to remind everybody realistically, it pours in tremendous amount of tax dollars, to the tax base. And so how we approach that has to be sort of how do we get some of the trickle down to come our way, but not in any way imagining that we're going to displace it or, relocate, you know what I mean? Like the resource is essential to the county's tax base. And so the issue is how do we tap some justifiable, stream for the communities where it's being hosted.
That was definitely a conversation as well during the summit, because they talked about how a lot of the counties, namely Prince George's County, is trying to fill its budget deficit with bringing in data centers. So it was not necessarily that they were even thinking about jobs or anything else. It was just, how do we fill this gap in our budget? And data centers is one way to do that. They didn't even know much about data centers at all. It just became, how do we fill this budget gap discussion? And that's how a lot of these discussions have gone. Also, Northern Virginia has the largest amount of data centers in the world outside of China. So, and the data centers that are supporting the defense industry are not the same as the data centers that are like cloud centers that are supporting AI in Silicon Valley. So they have different needs. They have different power needs. And so in Northern Virginia, I think BlackRock owns the largest private equity company in the world. They own, I think, 60% is what I was told of the data centers there. Then they also wanted to purchase a energy power plant that was being built by Dulles. And so there was a concern that they could manipulate the power market by even just doing that. The public justice, there's an organization called Public Justice out of DC, not just the Baltimore Public Justice Center, but there's an organization in DC that specifically focuses on the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC, and they are the ones that were bringing up information around how these data centers nationally are being manipulative around energy usage and energy sources. So There, there's a lot more to learn about what you were saying, Dr. Gomez, about filling budget holes, and also energy usage as well, and the ownership.
So yeah, so my point is really, more granularly, that there's a huge number of IT jobs in Fort Meade, and that civilian jobs and getting your foot in the door for a lot of our kids, that's a possibility that we could sort of reach out to people and broker some kind of awareness that let's do something proactively to create opportunities in our community.
Full disclosure, my son did work at around work for the NSA during at Old Mill. So I was taking him every day over there to the Annapolis Junction Business Park. So I totally understand what you're saying.
I'm into that.
Totally understand. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. We have our first vice president. Did you submit the Antonio's report? Okay, so for Antonio, he attended the legislative symposium on December 6th, which was amazing. Thank you to Political Action Committee Chair Kiana Banks, who you all will hear from later. He provided Zoom AV support for capturing video for the event. Legislative sessions, the sessions were uploaded on YouTube, and then he has the links to his to the videos that are on YouTube from the Housing Affordability Panel, General Assembly 101, which was hosted by Linda Davis, who is here on the call with us, and Surge 3A. Then the Police Accountability Panel, which featured the Police Accountability Board chairs from Baltimore City and Anne Arundel County, the Labor and Organizing DEI in the Workplace panel. Well, it was a workshop that was done by Christina Corona from the Teachers Association, and our Black Agenda Fierce Urgency of Now listening session. Then he asked everyone to subscribe to the Anne Arundel County NAACP YouTube channel. Then he had a Freedom Fund Committee report. He uploaded the video from the 50th annual Anne Arundel County NAACP Freedom Fund event as well. And he posted the link, and again, requested that we subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, Treasurer's reports. Let's go to Ms. Jen Roman.
Okay, yeah, so we're not able to share our screens, but I did upload the folder with all the reports. If you're on Zoom, you can access that. So for our treasurer's report for November, beginning of November, our opening balance was $26,001.58. Let's see, total deposits were $16,341.50. Total withdrawals, $14,796.58. And our closing balance at the end of November was $27,546.50. And then related to that, a lot of those transactions were related to the Freedom Fund. So I did in the Finance Committee report, I put a summary from the Freedom Fund. So our total expenses from the Freedom Fund were $15,572.21. Total income was $19,565. So our profit was $3,992.79. And that included 161 ticket sales plus 27 complimentary tickets. And then also the legislative symposium. I just wanted to let you all know that we were able to cover the cost of the symposium with financial and in-kind donations. And we actually were able to make a profit from it from donations, and that was $319.03. So thank you for everyone who donated. What's that?
Picked up 3 minutes.
And picked up 3 memberships and sold 2 shirts. Thank you, Rob.
Awesome.
Any questions?
No questions. This is Mary DeJoni. Again, applause for a very well planned, well executed event that brought in a lot of interest and online participation. The social media support live was magnificent, and then it's already up on the YouTube channel, cut in digestible pieces. I think it is exemplary. I'm very, very, very proud of this branch and our symposiums and public events, especially. And I think the way the event itself was used to generate not only its own funding, but additional funding is just an example that I at least hope to follow.
Awesome, Mary. Thank you. And so now you have the opportunity to present your report.
Um, okay, the secretary's report. I don't think can be shared online, but I believe you will be able to pull it up out of the folder. I'm going to do that myself, and it's going to take me just a moment since I'd anticipated to doing it online. And slow, 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 slow. Um, I apologize just for the incredible slowness. And even on my own computer, I can't get it. Okay, but I remember what it says. You're going to see a couple of graphics there. The first graphic is the total membership, which has slowly increased over the months. And it increased a fair amount in the last 2 months. One reason it is increasing is, thank you, to 370. I believe that's a 6-member increase. We have seen a couple of, still single digit, but larger bumps month over month, and they're because of events we've been going to. There was an advocacy forum at which President Waddy and others were present. There was the TAC Labor Day event in which we brought in new membership. There was the legislative forum, a symposium at which we brought in new memberships. So this is a way these events coincide with new memberships, and the new memberships are slightly greater than we were seeing before. I know we're doing active membership recruitment at these events. The other thing I want to point out is that in January and February, we have more expiring memberships than typical. That means renewing memberships as well, if they respond to either their own memory or the notice is now being sent out once again through the branch. It looks like we get a lot of new memberships, therefore, around the first of the year. That's at least this year. Last year rolling over to this year, that seems to be the pattern. And along with that, I have a couple of notes made. Issue observations a little bit further down, and those observations, Stephen, if you can scroll a little bit, I'd like to share. We get candidates in taking usually annual memberships at the time of election. I offer that for recruitment purposes. Issues to be addressed in the coming year from the secretarial, from the membership perspective. I've already addressed the fact that certainly missing minutes need to be addressed. There are still missing emails for some members, and we can't reach them by email if we don't have a correct or current email. We also get bounce backs. Those need to be individually resolved, and I will be seeking assistance through the executive committee in doing that. There are 4,392 records total as people who had at one time, or membership records from one time or another. Now, a lot of this aren't really, they represent multiple rollovers throughout the entire history of the national database, but still sitting there looking at 4,392 records and going, what are those? Raises a question. What are those? That's a big undertaking and involves the involvement of national as well. That is an issue that I believe needs to be addressed in the coming year. So that addresses the membership issues. I've already mentioned the difficulty, at least I am having, with keeping up with minutes for both the executive committee and the general membership. And finally, National maintains a single phone number for contact for the branch. And through the rollover through the years, that number has become my number. I don't mind it at all. It also gives me the opportunity to do intake for legal redress. And I've had the opportunity to do 4 intakes in the last 3 weeks and have those drafted, and we'll be sharing them with President Waddy. Is there anything I've missed, President Waddy?
Not that I can recall. We do have to vote on an issue, but we could do that during the unfinished business.
Is that a hangover? Because we also have the election of our board members for NAACP National.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
We do have to vote on the board members for NAACP National, which is our region, is Region 7. These are the at-large members. So let's go to Armed Services and Veteran Affairs report. Did we get a report from Gunny? That I know of. Okay. And let's get to Communications Committee. See, Judge Barber is still online. He did provide us with notice of the upcoming newsletter committee meetings. They had a meeting. Newsletter committee met on last Thursday, and I'm gonna pull that up for you real quick so you all can see some of the issues that they plan on discussing. Hopefully, all right, you all can see that. So we have planned articles include the election of the new speaker, Jocelyn Pena-Melnick, the MLK Awards banquet, and our own Shay Cook will be receiving an award, the NAACP's Drum Major Award, and then article on the Malcolm X Memorial, Freedom Fund banquet, as you all saw, Ms. Shay Cook's award, the president's message, the General Assembly special session, and legislative symposiums agenda. You'll hear more about that from Ms. Banks, Chair Banks, and then Linda. Looking for a proofreader. We need more people on the newsletter committee. We need more people on our communications committee. People that have a communications background, please join. If you know anyone that has a communications background, please get them to join so we can begin to have strategizing sessions on how we're going to handle some of these issues in the media, so that and which media is best to go to. Some of you all know people that have relationships with news outlets, and we need to be able to reach our best news outlets to recruit people and to get our messages heard to the different to our different constituencies. So that is something that we need, especially if, like I said, we're dealing with DEI in the workplace. We need a strategy to be able to deal with that in the media. In memoriam, we're going to have our memoriam messages on Ms. Christine Davenport and Patrick Flaherty as well. And I did attend Patrick Flaherty's memorial on November 22nd as well on behalf of the branch. And President also attended on Ms. Davenport's memorial. And I understand it was a very, very loving and very heartbreaking affair for many of us. So I do appreciate everyone that attended that as well. So we'll be honoring those two members in our newsletter. And you can see the article deadline is Monday, January 19th. Newsletter distribution will be the first week of February 2026. So please send them to this email address, claudiabarber@aol.com. So that's open to all of you. If you would like to submit a newsletter article, you are welcome. We want people who aren't just NAACP members or committee chairs to submit articles as well. So
Pictures.
yeah, pictures as well. We need pictures from events. If you were at the legislative symposium and you took pictures, share them as well. If you were when you go to the if you're at the Freedom Fund, send the pictures. If you go to the MLK Day or the MLK banquet, send those pictures. If you volunteering on MLK Day, please send those pictures. Any of the events, if you went to the Apology for Slavery, please send the pictures. Those are things that we need to include in our newsletter so that we can be a resource for the community to know what's happening in Black Anne Arundel County. And go ahead.
When I go out to do voter registration, I always take the newsletters with me. This is Ralph Thomas speaking. Because the newsletters give a summary of what we're doing. People ask me, what are you doing? We don't ever see you in the community. I give them the newsletter. They can't miss it. We're out there, we're doing things.
Right.
Doing positive things.
Yes.
It's usually summarized very expertly in our newsletter. So it makes a big difference. We have newsletter and pictures of NAACP at work in the community.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.
And we need more. We need more. So also, if you all, that comes out of our budget, that Ralph is printing these out and giving them out. So we need more. Donate. We need donations for the branch to be able to put on these events and pass out items and print out items. A lot of people are going digital, but we know that when you're out in the community, you have to have these things to hand to people. When we were at the Kunta Kinte Festival, there were thousands of people that were there, and hundreds of people came by our booth. You know, people were bringing complaints to me at the booth.
Yes.
You know, exactly. Ralph gets the complaints all the time as well. So we have to have something for them to walk away with, and that it's not free. You know. So hopefully we can also continue that work. Like I said, we need more people. If you want to get your ideas out there, if you have an idea that you're concerned about, something that you want to, I see many of you write extensively long Facebook status messages. I'm looking at one doctor in particular. We'd like to get you printed in our newsletter, sir. So if you want to join, that would be great. Let's go to the Community Coordination Committee report.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Ma'am.
Hello, fam. Before I get started, Stephen, you mentioned the newsletter. I can't remember off the top of my head, but like at the festivals, like the Kunta Kinte Heritage Festival, I know Ralph has the QR code for the meetings. Do we have a QR code on display for the newsletter?
Ralph,
No, that's a good idea, though.
Okay.
Could we
All right.
also add the QR code for our YouTube channel?
Sure. Add that to the list. QR codes for the website. We do have a QR for the website where the newsletter is, the membership is, everything is on our website. So we do have that.
Okay. I just know that the newsletter, like you mentioned, is so important, especially for what Ralph was talking about, too, like people wondering what we're doing. So, you know, if they're curious, but they don't want to engage in a conversation, I'm one of those people sometimes, you know, they could just look at the QR code. All right, moving on to my report. I went to Christine's service, heartbreaking. I learned a lot about her. I still can't believe it. I went to Pat's service as well. It was beautiful. Still shocked by that as well. I'm for the next year, I am going to make a commitment to learn more about the people here in our branch. You know, I always say, you know, hello fam and all that kind of stuff, but I hate learning more about people at their service when they're gone, you know, and I'm like, man, the conversations that we could have had, just like when, you know, at Jim's service, you know, Mary's gym, you know, I was just like, what? There were so many you know, I knew him, but, you know, like if I like really knew him, I'm like, man, I could have some really great conversations. Same with Christine and Pat. So if I start asking you questions, that's why, you know, I just want to learn a little bit more about people. Went to the legislative symposium last Saturday, I believe it was. Fantastic. Thank you to everyone, Kiana, everyone that pull that together. The pictures in there I sent out last night to Claudia because I know she had asked for the hard copy, so she has that. I did not get a chance to. Normally, I post my report on our link tree. I'm a little busy right now, but I will post that at some point, hopefully tonight. So the last one that you will see up there will be November. The links, however, for our events on our link tree are up to date. So please pay attention to that. We have the annual Peace Parade at the Military Bowl coming up December 26th. The Martin Luther King Jr. Dinner coming up on January 16th. Our shirts are here. We've waited a long time, many months. I think I put in a reorder. It feels like back in, I don't even know, like maybe May or something. And it's for, you know, it's just a backlog for several reasons, but they're finally here. I was able to hand them over to Ralph last Saturday at the symposium. So get them while they're hot. That's pretty much all I have. Please go out to the link tree. It's always the same. The number, the link is at the bottom. If I get a chance, I'll drop it into the chat. So everybody stay safe. Mask up. It's a lot going on. So, and happy holidays to everyone.
Thank you. I am scrolling through the items that you have listed here. Hope everybody can see them. Got some coming up. Emergency services for adults. Suicide prevention. Food bank. Stellar TV. And Civic Ready. And we got African American Heritage walking tours. And the QR code for the link tree, as well as the website HTML address. I'm still an HTML person, you know. Thank you, Sky.
You're welcome.
Let's go to Economic Development Committee report, Ms. Shay Cook.
Good morning, everybody. I don't have any action items. Plan to get re-engaged in 2026. Thank you, President Wadi, for mentioning having members or adding people to our committees, communication and so forth. We need CPAs, bankers, insurance people, anybody in personal finance world, and our economic committee. I would greatly appreciate that. Our next meeting is January 22nd. It's the third Thursday at 6:30. I'll put my information in the chat if you want to join, but we definitely need those in the personal finance world that are here to help our Black community around personal finances. But thank you again for the award. And yeah, that's all I have. Happy holidays.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Okay.
Status of the Green Book.
The Green Book. Ralph was wondering about the Green Book. Do we have any updates on that?
No, Jen and I have met about that, but we need help to be able to keep that updated. I mean, it's there, the information's there, but we really need help maintaining that. There's a lot of great information in there, but I'm sure it needs to be updated. So Jen, I'll reach out to you again at the beginning of the year and we can re-engage that as well. But we need volunteers, we need interns, we need somebody to help update that, keep that updated. So more to follow on the Green Book.
That's just something else that I utilize to do voter registration. We're doing that. That's a very positive thing.
Can y'all heard Ralph?
A little bit. What did he say? Something about positive something.
He said that he utilizes the Green Book during a discussion when he's out register of voters.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ralph.
As you can hear,
Appreciate it.
tabling is a big deal. So another opportunity for you all to get out and support the organization is through tabling ACT. Yes, thank you, Linda. I appreciate you. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So for the ACT report, I'm the liaison for the branch with the Anne Arundel Connecting Together. It's a long report, and there were a couple action items, and one was to attend the meetings that ACT has, and the second was for there was a request that ACT join in with this Maryland Just Power Alliance, along with two other groups that are similar to ACT. One is in Howard County, one is in Montgomery County. We would join together in this Maryland Just Power Alliance. It's similar to like how our branch is part of the Maryland State Conference and then part of national NAACP. So at the executive committee on the 17th, we voted to join the Maryland Just Power Alliance, and that would give us a broader reach. It would make us kind of coordinate and then be able to advocate for legislation on the state level. It would also create a 501c3 and 501c4, and also allow us to have more members. And then it would allow ACT to organize in Anne Arundel County, specifically locally, and then join into the statewide initiative. So we would still be ACT on the county level, and we would also be able to broaden the membership of ACT. And so the executive committee thought it was a good thing to do. So we joined. And then there's a lot of legislation that the Maryland Just Power Alliance is looking at. Well, not a lot. They want to look at housing. That's a big thing. And so they'll be advocating for a couple bills, and you'll hear about those. One is the starter home legislation, and one is the Main Street housing legislation to get more housing in areas, since that's a big, huge need statewide. So that's all for now. Thank you.
When's the next meeting for ACT?
Well, it was Thursday night, so the next one is January 22nd, and that's the ACT annual meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for missing you earlier. Education committee report.
Would you be able to share the written report?
In a second. Let's check it out. And here you go.
Thank you very much. Focusing on literacy first, because that's one of our major initiatives. As everybody here knows, because you participate, we have a book giveaway program which supports all of the public events and tabling events we do. It does cost something. We have sources for free books, but our books that are directly curated for topics related to equity, civil rights, true history, representation, come through Scholastic Books, and we pay for those. Before coming back to the branch with a proposal for those book purchases, it became clear that we needed to do a better job of presenting to the general membership how that scholastic engagement works, how the books are chosen, how they relate to literacy. Toward that effort, we've been attempting to engage with our literacy representative at Scholastic. He's had issues, I've had issues, the meeting has had issues. So for December, it ended up being a Mary interviews Kevin. His name is Kevin Potts. On Zoom, I will be sending that forward to First Vice President Downing to post on our YouTube channel for everybody to engage with. And then the focus of our January meeting will be to include what we're going to do around that. The ultimate goal is not only to have the full branch informed and in agreement about how we engage with book purchases and literacy efforts, but also to engage countywide in a literacy coordinated, symbiotic literacy effort with other organizations that also aim that direction. And with the wonderful models that I've seen from both our Labor and Industry Committee Chair and our legislative affairs, I'm sorry, Kiana, that's not the right word, committee symposium, we have a model for that if we choose to go forward with that. There are two things that have happened within the county that I want to call to your attention. I know that Kiana Banks will be reviewing this as well. The redistricting has been completed. There were fewer persons impacted than anticipated. The newspaper is reporting approximately 750 students, and the biggest issue remains Nantucket elementary students in the Crofton cluster are still subject to split articulation, which means that some of the students from Nantucket Elementary will be going into the Crofton cluster. That's Crofton Middle School, Crofton High School, and others will be going to an Annapolis cluster, specifically Annapolis Middle School, Annapolis High School. There is tremendously well-organized, funded, and just plain aggressive, loud engagement around that by the affected families. They've taken their complaints and petition and case to the Anne Arundel County Council and also to the Maryland State Department of Education. They do have lawyers representing them. We don't know where it'll come, how it'll end up. My perception is that the arguments being presented are about the social, emotional, and mental well-being of the impacted students who will have to go a different direction than their immediate neighbors and those with whom they go through elementary school. I anticipate that we will be continuing to hear about that. I haven't heard, or at least don't remember, arguments related to equity, racial representation, or academic performance. We are going to, at the Education Committee, we're going to be looking at recommitment of the Education Committee membership. Thank you, everyone who's reached out. Nicole, thank you. The membership changes over time depending on energy, interest, people's health and well-being, and prioritization. So we just want to make sure that everybody who wants to be there is there and that we have broad enough representation of the various entities. We also do that through outreach and our own participation in other groups. Specifically, I've joined both ABSI. I've joined ABSI, I volunteer with STARE, and I am participating on Andre Diller's Impact Committee for recruitment and retention of Black male educators. As I mentioned, it's really important that we have a coordinated, agreed to, just logical, coherent engagement in a literacy effort. And all this kind of generally falls in the area of how do we create a strategic plan for our branch, our education committee and our branch education efforts, and then choose our actions and expenditures of our treasure and time accordingly. Those will be the focuses. That strategic planning will, along with engaging in the literacy planning will be the focus of the January 8th meeting. We generally meet on the first Thursday. The first Thursday is New Year's Day. So we're going to meet on the second Thursday this year for January. Could you scroll a little bit and see if I missed anything?
Just the budget, and you have a question about whether or not we're going to be testifying on the budget.
We need to look at the budget, and that's certainly part of what's set up for the January meeting. I would anticipate that we would be testifying on the budget. One of the issues we know is really important is special education funding, adequate special education funding. The superintendent dropped his recommendation a couple of days ago, so it's going to take some looking. I will be sending out links for that budget to the Education Committee so that we can be prepared when we come to the January meeting. And Keon, I will include you because I know that's a legal redress issue as well. I'm sorry, it's not legal redress, it's legislative affairs. As you can probably tell, I do have a cold and associated diminishment of capability.
Jen said that the January meeting is after the Board of Education hearings, the budget hearings.
We will be. Thank you, Jen.
We did receive some complaints as well this month about students that are being called the N-word and being treated disrespectfully and being subjected to racist behavior at various schools in Anne Arundel County. So again, that is also going to be a part of our discussion with Dr. Bedell. Last I talked with Dr. Gillens about this, there was an issue that went on with a Chesapeake High School. So there's been a series, it's ramping up from what I understand. So I'm working on a media strategy to be able to get this done as well and move forward with that.
One of the complaints I'll be sending to you is also related to bullying. And as you and I are aware, President Waddy, the bullying is largely around race, but we've also had two related to disability.
Okay. Again, we need more people at these meetings, so that would be able to help us to get some of this volunteer work done. Thank you, Dr. Doney. Did we answer all the questions in the chat? Okay, let's go to environmental justice. Oh, I saw, am I seeing hands? Am I missing hands? No. Okay, so I saw the environmental justice and health committee. Environmental justice and climate, environmental justice report. I didn't receive one from Dr. Garrett. I know she's out of the country right now, and so that is one discussion that hopefully we can continue, and that's also related to, so the Cherish Act is a bill that we have supported in the past, and it's about the cumulative effects of pollution in Black communities. And so we supported it. The bill has not passed, and it's a way to help one, eliminate multiple I would say polluters within the Black community, and Lothian is experiencing that specifically and has for a number of years. And so Dr. Garrett, being our representative from Lothian, had put us onto the Cherish Act. They even talked about the Cherish Act at the Dirty Data Summit that we just had, just attended. So we will be supporting the Cherish Act again. Hopefully we can get more people to testify. I testified on it about 2 years ago. And hopefully we can get some more people to testify at the State House when the Cherish Act gets reintroduced. In order, and I can share that with you all as well. I'll share that the language of the legislation and the testimony on the bill as well. So let's go to our Finance Committee report. Ms. Stansberry. She on the phone? She had to leave, I think. Oh, she had to leave. Okay. Freedom Fund, I already talked about what Antonio sent for that. Let's go to the Health Committee report, please.
I could get the finance. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Ralph, go ahead for finance.
We met last Thursday.
Monday, this past
Finance
Monday.
guy changed it this Monday. And the finance committee met and we reviewed all the finances with the NAACP, all the books balanced. Everything came out right to the penny.
Okay. Thank you. Make sure I record the note that I sent you guys the Cherish Act. Okay, Health Committee report. I'm going to pull it up for you in a second. Let me go to my email. Dr. Gomez.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll pull it in a second.
All right, you got it?
Yes. All right, here we go.
Yeah, I can tell you verbally. So the main issue that I wanted to look at or share with folks is that my energies have been around getting ideas and initiatives published in the medical literature and in the social science literature and the public health literature to call attention to ongoing problems that get not the emphasis that they should get in health. And then my goal is to get these studies published and then create uh, a an environment to invite folks that are involved with this kind of work and bring it here to Anne Arundel County. So just taking it from the top, our mission remains to address the issues around disparity and equitable access to care. I had previously said that we were going to hold off on the December meeting. We're having some difficulties and our invites because folks had a lot of stuff going on coming up with the holidays. But the research that I published, and I think you might find interesting, that's why I wanted you to have the hard copy of it, is one is on deaths in custody, in law enforcement custody, and how despite the fact that we learn from past errors, these things continue to placate our communities and disparately impact Black and Latino particularly, but also here where I am working currently on reservations and the indigenous communities around the country. So one of the problems is the misuse of chemical restraints. And so I wrote a manuscript that looks at continued trends in overusage and lack of oversight on how they're applied, which has resulted in multiple deaths. Some of them more publicly known than others, but they go on. That it's an ongoing problem that has not found resolution. So my hope is that once this gets published, it'll call more attention to it. A second issue is trends around suicide and depression, particularly in the Latino immigrant community, that I sent to the Journal of National Hispanic Medical Association. I think will create some energy and support for that issue. Uh, Clearly, the many public um, uh, expose people actually just filming it on their phones of ICE and questionably sanctioned ICE agents surveilling, apprehending, inappropriately holding, and otherwise harassing immigrants, and in many cases citizens that they just happen to decide look brown enough to question, and how this relates to how this leads to increased stress and economic precarity and all of the stresses and pressures that would lead to poor mental health and more likely and um, the ultimate horrible repercussion of suicide. A third is how Black psychology fails to truly address the needs of, in particular, Black men, because it doesn't include contexts of cultural pressures, and these go way beyond economic, protectors like whether or not you're insured or can even get access to care. Beyond that, I also am serving on the board at NAMI in Anne Arundel County, which is very eager to collaborate with us on all of the similar initiatives that we've discussed in the past for the Health Committee, and I'll update you as we try to coordinate that. The upcoming meeting in 2026, I'd like to set up for to invite folks that are involved with this kind of research and work. Particularly, I reached out to a prominent author and professor of Black Studies at the University of Edinburgh, Dr. Tommy Curry, and I'm pretty sure I can get him to do a Zoom with us. In that case, I'm going to try to build that up so as many of us can be a part of it, and I'll share his very successful books that have gotten international attention, and I think we should all be aware of. And that's about it. And then sort of the ongoing goals to promote, protect, and maintain the health of the residents in the county, and advocate for equal access for minoritized and marginalized communities. And with that, I conclude.
Thank you, Dr. Gomez. Just wanted to pull this up real quick and let you all see that the meetings have been posted online for our branch. We need more views. You guys see the May, and these are discussions that Dr. Gomez had with our legislators as we prepare for this upcoming session. Dr. Gomez invited Delegate Heather Bagnall to come speak with us, and she met with us and talked about the Minority Health Committee and health disparities, how they're addressing that, ways that they're using the private market to try and address that, and ways that the public health concerns should be addressed. Public health industry and institution should be addressing minority health disparities. So those are discussions that, and you all know Delegate Heather Bagnall is our delegate in Severna Park. So she represents Severna Park. So she's the chair. She was the previous chair, or she might still be the chair. I don't know what Speaker Pena Melnick may choose, but she was the chair of the Minority Health Committee subcommittee. So these are conversations that are online that Dr. Gomez brought to us and has coordinated through his wonderful efforts. So I encourage you all to watch them and bring back your thoughts and ideas so that we can be prepared for the legislative session and make sure that we're talking about them during the legislative session as well. Thank you. Our labor and industry report, we have Commissioner Tracy Parker Warren here with us today in the room, and she's got her NAACP shirt on. Yep, the camera's there. The camera is there. Would you like to stay seated, or you want to put it on me? You want to put it on me? I'll put it on me.
You're much better.
Okay, all right. You got it.
Thank you. So I also attended Christine Davenport service. It was very moving. And I attended the legislative symposium. It was amazing. And 12 participated in it. I've been in contact with the president of the teachers union, and we were talking about, and I saw someone put in the notes about solidarity. It's interesting to me how there's so many awesome people in our county, but I feel like we need more solidarity. I feel like we could accomplish more if we sort of reinforce it a little bit better. So Christina and I were talking about, as it things that like a critical mass movement, where not only do we combine forces here, but maybe as something is happening here simultaneously, there could be something happening in another jurisdiction. We were talking about having a training, and hopefully it would be, I believe it's already scheduled, 2-day training. The first day would be here at the American Legion on the 31st, January 31st. And then the second day, there's still some discussion about it, but perhaps gathering in person somewhere in DC. There are a couple of organizations that do have access to physical buildings and such, so permitting would not be an issue. So we talked about whether or not the Arundel County branch of the NAACP would like to be involved, and I wanted to bring that back to you. I'd love for us to be involved, and also to be more active in what the real curriculum would look like for that training. Please pardon my phone, but I just want to make sure I captured everything. One thing would be political education, to understand what's happening, how we got here, what people's mindsets are, and how we can counteract it. One thing, as I said, was base building, how to organize conversation, and sort of communicate to people in such a way where they're agitated enough to really want to step up and do something. And also, I hate to say it this way, but maybe safety in numbers. There are people that do want to do something, but they're afraid for their job and such. But by us all doing something together, perhaps that's mitigated some. Talking about campaigns and tactics and cost, and even how to escalate and ramp up things. Like, we start with this 2-day training, but what does that lead to in the future, and how does that get us to some mass movement, perhaps across the county, across the state, across the country? Building strong alignments, how do we do that? And I'm so happy that you're in discussion here, because that's of course one step in building those alignments, and also just talking about timing. Where do we go from here? We have this 2-day training coming up, but what happens after that? As many of you know, that there's a May Day that the county does, and the next one, of course, is May 1st of 2026. Just want to make sure that we are touching every part of the county, that we're identifying leaders, that we have a voice in developing curriculums and such, when, you know, when such opportunities arise. And we want to remind our people, our constituents, our residents, that we have power, we can make a difference. But I feel like this training is envisioned in such a way where we can really focus on that and let people know that it's a real thing. They don't have to be afraid of, we really can do this. We just need to take the first step. So
I have a link to the Solidarity School. One of our members who's on the call, Phil Tetto, attended the I think Jen was there too, the Solidarity School training, and I know Linda was there, that was led by the Chicago Teachers Union on Thursday evening. I was there, I was in and out, but if you all wanted to speak a little bit more about that, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
no, but the people that were at that meeting, I think those are also the people that would be perfect to, you know, attend on January 31st and have more of a voice in developing a curriculum leading up to January 31st.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Phil?
Back here. Alex will be here about half an hour or something. But I'm in for this elevator, he lost, so he's gone.
Oh,
Dr. Gomez, hit me. There you go. All right, Phil. Is he still here?
Yes, I'm here. What's up?
You wanted to talk, but go with the Solidarity School. Thank you.
The short of what I gather, and Linda and others, please help that we're there. Basically, it's giving us a foundation in political education, as well as training on like organizing and direct action, with the goal of being organized to mobilize for May Day. Some of you may know that the head of the United Auto Workers, they set their contract to end at the end May 2028, an election year, and they encourage other unions to do so. So because technically solidarity strikes are illegal, but if all the unions' contracts are ending at about the same time, I can amass about as large a percentage of people striking in American history, most likely. So that's the longer term vision, but the short term vision is, yeah, January 31st to start off the Solidarity School and build from there. And I know I'm involved with helping tailor the curriculum that they took from a Chicago training from a couple months ago. Linda, others, what do you got?
Yeah,
sent
thank
me a
you,
link.
Phil.
Phil sent me a link as well, so I wanted to be sure that, do you want people to sign up through that link?
For people who want to be involved, like when it comes time to do outreach for people to attend, I think that will be separate, but this is more for people who I think want to be involved with helping make it happen in whatever different capacities.
Okay.
That's what I gathered. What was your understanding, Linda?
Yeah, I gathered that as well. And like you said, Tracy Parker Warren, that they do want people to help with the curriculum. And so to influence that on the political education training. And they're hoping to do something the second day, February 1st. And they mentioned that February 2nd might be a day of action if the government shuts down again. Because this group includes a lot of the unions and community organizations, which I think is so exciting for all of us to come together with the union, labor movement, and the community organizing movement to come together in greater numbers, because together we can do a lot more than we can singularly. So I'm excited about this and hope members of the branch can be on the planning committee as well as attend this Solidarity School. I think it's a really exciting opportunity to bring our county together. We've been trying to develop a coalition in the county, and I think this could really make it bigger and involve more people. So to me, it's very exciting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jen says we need a legal right to strike in Maryland currently for public sector employees. I totally agree. And I reached out to our state senator, Pam Vital, earlier this year to ask about unemployment compensation for contractors. There were additional unemployment compensation benefits that federal workers were receiving if they were fired under DOGE. And so I wanted to know whether or not contractors were receiving those same benefits, and they were not. And so that's something that we need to definitely advocate for from the Maryland State Legislature as well, because many of the Black people who were fired were contractors. They weren't employees. As you all know, a lot of the contractors were, a lot of the positions that were secretarial that Black people were filling were already turned into contractor positions during the 90s and 2000s. So that's something that we have to address as well. In regards to coalitions and solidarity, schools related to union and Black people, I hope that the branch and those who support this can emphasize working conditions for Black people in these places, because the entire movement around MAGA is about some unfounded complaints these crazy people have that Black people are taking their jobs, Latinos are taking their jobs, and so they are using Black people as the scapegoat for what billionaires are doing, and Black people are literally suffering the consequences, of working in hostile environments, as many of you know who are on this call, who might be working at the federal level. And so the hostility towards Black DEI was the first thing that they did. They removed DEI at the federal level. So that is something that our unions should have been prepared for, should have been ready for, and we're not. And the NAACP itself, we relied on lawsuits, not direct action. So I think that we need to make sure that we bring that awareness and messaging to any solidarity schools in the county and nationwide. And any actions that we're bringing, that we prioritize and emphasize the impact, the way that anti-Blackness is being prioritized by the white supremacists who desire to resegregate all of our society, but especially the labor force. And let's go to, we have membership. We heard from membership earlier. Let's go to Political Action Committee report, Ms. Kiana Banks. Chair Banks, I know she's got a lot going on. She might be busy. She's with us still. Yep, she's there. Okay. Let me see if I can.
Sorry, I'm here. I'm in the car. I'm trying to unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I apologize for not being on video and not being there in person. I had a couple points about the school board redistricting that Mary covered very well, so I won't cover that. And I have like a blurb about it in my report as well. We had the legislative symposium, which was discussed also. I just wanted to thank, again, the executive committee members and the members of the organization that showed up and provided support and attended. And, everyone pitched in to make sure that it was a successful event. So thank you for that. Lots of hard work went into it. So definitely appreciate those that were able to help out and attend and participate. As far as, I did include some information in my report just about some of the viewership numbers that we were able to get from the postings that were online, like via social media, that are still getting views. So that's wonderful that people have been engaged online in the symposium, just looking at the videos that have been posted. As far as action items are concerned, we've been having some discussions about the symposium and how we can make improvements for the next one moving forward. and, aiming to get some increased participation as well. Reaching out to some legislators to make sure that they're aware of the issues that are important to the NAACP, and, making sure that we are collaborating with them. We also plan on, which has been an ongoing agenda item, doing like a legislative education session and wrap up like once the session sort of ends, and then also having a live sort of a document that we'll be able to that people will be able to have access to take a look at the legislation that the NAACP is following, and to see like where it is, what's going on with it, how and when it's being voted on, and things like that. So those are some of the action items. And I'm sorry, I'm going from memory. I had a legislative committee meeting. What'd you say?
Oh, I didn't know if you was driving or not, but it's on the screen as well.
Oh, I am. What about the screen? It's on the screen. Okay. Okay. So I had a committee meeting. Let me see. I think it was November 18th, and then we just had one last Tuesday. This past Wednesday. This past Tuesday. So that was November, December. December's meeting was mainly focused on wrapping up, just doing sort of a post discussion on a legislative symposium. We plan on including, I think this was also mentioned, we plan on including a write-up of the symposium in the newsletter. I know there was a call for pictures, so please send those in if you have them. And the next committee meeting will be held, the meetings are the third Tuesday of the month. I think it's January 20th at 6:30. There was some discussion about the need for committee members on some of the other committees. There's also a great need for that for the the Political Action Committee as well. I think, especially if we're moving forward with the symposiums and things like that, having some additional hands on deck would be greatly appreciated and are needed. So, does anyone have any questions?
I just wanted to congratulate you again on the wonderful symposium. Thank you for putting that together, preparing everybody for the legislative session. I don't know, were there any other questions? Let's see. Gerald Brown said he'll be rejoining the Political Action Committee. Great.
Thank you, Gerald. I greatly look forward to your participation.
Okay.
Hopefully combine the labor and industry meetings with those meetings so that we can because we're working on in tandem there as well. So that might be something that we could also do as well. That would be very helpful. I also wanted to say that I testified on the Congressional Redistricting Commission. There was a Congressional Redistricting Commission that the governor put together that was chaired by Senator Angela Also Brooks, U.S. Senator Angela Also Brooks, and we had Brian Frosch was on it as well, and Brian Frosch is previous Maryland Attorney General, and the Maryland Senate President Bill Ferguson was on it as well, and he had expressed that he was not in favor of redistricting. This is not a typical redistricting year. Usually redistricting happens after the census. However, as you all know, the President of the United States asked every Republican legislature, especially Texas, to do a mid-decade redistricting in order to eliminate certain Black districts, to pack and crack Black people into places that they would no longer be fully represented and increase the number of a number of white majority districts in these conservative stronghold, white supremacist strongholds. So Maryland itself has one Republican majority district, and so the goal for to confront the racist redistricting, the explicitly racist redistricting of Texas. Where else did they do? Tennessee. I think North Carolina is also a place that they are. The House and Senate of North Carolina are Republican led, and they also are attempting to gerrymander districts, Black people out of their redistricts. So this mid-decade redistricting at request of the president is politically motivated, which had been called racist, but now our Supreme Court, which is run by a white supremacist majority, has also stated that they also are willing to allow gerrymandering for political reasons. And so when one party is run by white nationalists, that means that it is gerrymandering on behalf of white supremacy. And so that is the motive behind this gerrymandering. And it's clear and explicit. And so now states that oppose this racist gerrymandering are coming out to oppose it, Maryland being one of those places. And so in Indiana did oppose it, Indiana did oppose it. And so that in California as well. So my message was, hopefully we can find our Charles Sumner, find our Thaddeus Stevens, those radical Republicans from the Reconstruction era, post-Civil War, Civil War era that gave us the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments can now find some, the white people who are on this commission can get some heart and be of goodwill and find a way to have proper representation of African American in the Eastern Shore, because the NAACP had a meeting on congressional redistricting, and we found that Black people who are in the Eastern Shore have not had congressional representation for at least 20 years, especially with Andy Harris being their representative. And this is, they were complaining about the fact that they haven't had representation even at the local level, where places like in Federalsburg, they had to sue in order to get rid of at-large districts that favored a white majority in order to be able to have one Black person at the local level in Federalsburg. So this level of gerrymandering, political, just overwhelming political power that the white majority in Eastern Shore has placed over African Americans. It was even displayed on the phone on that call. So I tried to talk about all that during my brief 3 minutes that I had on on that redistricting call. We also had, I know in the next call, we had members also calling in. Janice Jones called in, one of our members in South County, Maisie Howard called in. And so we had numerous people from Anne Arundel County that called in support of redistricting. And they just came out with their report that they did support doing redistricting to have more fairness at the federal level, because this could mean one seat could change the entire complexion of the U.S. House of Representatives. That's how thin the majority is that they have gerrymandered into place, because the only reason why there's a Republican majority is because there is a gerrymandering that has taken place within these state houses. And so even a one seat change could make a difference. We are a nonpartisan organization, but we do recognize the interests at hand. So that was part of our discussion on that. I don't know if there are any. Yes, Phil. Yes, exactly. Great word. So I appreciate you all for joining us. Were there any other? Oh, we have to talk about our vote on the representative for Region 7. So the NAACP has a national board. The national board members come from various regions, and one of our board members is an at-large member, and there are several at-large members who are running. Some of the at-large members are not in our region, so they are at-large. They have to go to every region and ask for people to vote for them to be able to get on the board. And one of the people that lives in our region is Robin Williams, and the person who is the administrator for the Maryland State Conference, Michael Curry, is also running for at-large position. Robin Williams told us at our our national conference that she suggested Michael Curry to be the Maryland State Administrator back when they removed, or when they initially removed Kobe Little and Josh Harris from the president and vice president positions. So we haven't seen much progress since then. There's another lady, Gloria Sweetlove, that is also running. She is I think she's in Tennessee, and she is the chair of the committee that put us under administratorship, and then also put the Maryland State Conference under administratorship. So I know those are three people that I know are running. Go ahead.
President Waddy, I uploaded, or no, I didn't upload. I created a document with the ballot on it, and I believe Jen Roman uploaded it for us.
Okay. Thank you. So I see Apostle Larry Lee Thomas has his hand raised.
I just want to clarify whether or not we was finished with our committee report.
Okay, go ahead.
And because I wanted to make that, I made a recommendation for the religious affair at one of our meetings here, that the United Black Clergy will be in that, would like to be in that position, and as for the religious affairs committee. And I don't know whether that was accepted or what was accepted.
No, I haven't made an appointment yet.
Right.
No. Did you want me to make an appointment?
I made a suggestion that United Black will be able to hold that position, and I know the way now I am the chair of the United Black Clergy. So I have talked to my colleagues at one of the meetings and told them that I would love to have their support as we continue to partner with the NAACP.
Okay. Well, I have no problem making that appointment. Thank you for making that suggestion. Go ahead.
At this point, so would you be the chair, or would your organization be the chair?
Well, I was looking at more of the organization being the chair, because if I personally, like I said, as the chair, need what is called support of the clergy, and by them being part of the religious affairs committee, it is not just my voice, but the voice of the United Black Clergy.
I think the only question would be for the executive committee meeting. Would you be attending, or would you have appoint somebody to attend if you're not able to attend?
That's correct.
Okay.
Like I say, I will be considered the main person.
Okay.
I will have the
point of contact.
Right. So the United Black Clergy can continue to represent, and some of our executive members, if I'm not available, because I do a lot of travel, especially for missions. And I may be misleading by trying to bring the connection for the religious community back at the table for the for the NAACP through the United Black Code, if that makes sense.
At least to me, it makes.
But I just wanted to bring that up, and then also I wanted to thank our president for attending my 62nd church anniversary, my 34 years as a pastor, and 44 years in the ministry. And he represented the NAACP very well. It was on the fourth Sunday in November that he was there, and I appreciate his attendance and the words that he gave on the behalf of the NAACP.
Thank you.
And then my last acts, I said that I would love to host the NAACP meeting. I'm looking at April, May, and June now that you once assigned to it. To get the allocated have it back instead of being here at the American Legion. I would like it to be at 75, you could say East Alfred Road, or you could say Chief Apostle Larry Lee Thomas Day.
Yes, Lord.
But it's in the very area, if that would be the will of this wonderful branch.
I think those are great ideas. Thank you for bringing these resources to be an asset to the community. And I believe, as I mentioned at your anniversary celebration, that one of my first time I met Dr. Gomez was at your church. First time I attended many. I think the first meeting that I attended was at the church. So it's something that I see as a community asset as well. So I would definitely move that Apostle Thomas and United Black Clergy, or the United Black Clergy with Apostle Thomas as its representative, be seated or appointed as the Religious Affairs Committee Chair in the Anne Arundel County NAACP. I don't know, do we have a forum to be able to make that?
Yes, we do have a quorum of the executive. I know this is an anomalous approach. It
Yes.
has to be the consent of the executive committee, and we have a quorum of the executive committee present. At least, yeah, we do.
I support it.
Thank you. This is seconded by Commissioner Tracy Parker Warren. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Yes. Great. Thank you so much.
I
don't know
what I'm eyeing to.
On your anniversary.
Yes, definitely. We offered congratulations with the commission as well. So we had a whole celebration. Thank you. So in that vein, go ahead.
I would take my apology, but I know for the banquet, I was to do benediction.
Oh, okay.
But on that particular time, I had gotten an emergency call from my children that their mother was not doing well.
Hello.
And now she have transitioned. So we're in the process of trying to make sure that those services are going to go well. It's been a tough journey because she was a recipient of a kidney transplant and she was doing very well. But then all of a sudden things began to turn around, that they found some swelling in the brain. And my eyes, we have been since November 7th trying to go through that pain of losing her. And my children finally was able, while I was away, able to secure the body. And now they are having the service on December 29th. So basically, my family anything. You know, I love you, I love you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Also,
I'm sorry to hear that. We keep your family and our prayers and the church family as well. Thank you. I'm so sorry to hear
President
that.
Wadi,
Yes.
is it time to return to the elect branches vote for representatives to candidates for the national board of the NAACP?
Yes.
Were you able to find the image of the ballot?
Yes. I was. Thank you. And I will put
I
that
will
up.
note that we have 7 votes to allocate for candidates at large, and there are 7 candidates. I note that we have 1 vote to allocate for the Region 7 representative, and we have 1 adult NAACP candidate. So the simplest thing to do is just to vote for the candidates on the ballot. I'm not necessarily recommending that. I am noting that, and those candidates are shown on the next page.
All right. So yes, the at-large candidates, we have Michael Curry, Reverend Wendell Anthony, Reverend Teresa Deer, Gloria Sweetlove, Gary Bledsoe, Rosalind Brock, and Robin Williams. I think Rosalind Brock also is from the DC area. And then Region 7, we have Akosua Ali, who is the president of the DC NAACP. And I'm not sure who Jalen Vince is. So.
That is a youth candidate. I do not believe that as an adult chapter, we are to vote for a youth candidate.
Okay. So do we want to go first name by name, or do we want to just select everyone and offer a motion for the branch to offer its votes in favor of the at-large candidates listed on the national board ballot?
Question, what if we don't know any of these people? It's just Shay Cook. So I'll just abstain from voting because I don't feel comfortable voting for people I don't know. So
Definitely abstain.
yeah. Okay.
Those were the exact thoughts I had. Thank you.
and maybe names in case we may know gonna be that represented.
So how many at-large positions are there?
7.
And there's 7 candidates?
Yes.
I'm happy that they stepped up to volunteer.
Why isn't anybody from our branch on there?
Because we're so busy in Anne Arundel County.
Yeah, that's so true.
Great question. Very great question.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
But we have qualified people is the point.
Exactly. You're right, Judge Barbara.
You can write in from our friends.
Are they volunteering?
Right.
Do we have write-in authority?
There is no provision for write-in on this ballot.
Okay, good. So we can make a motion that the unit abstain from voting due to a lack of, abstain from voting, period.
I agree. Yes.
Are there bios around anywhere that we could get access to?
There are
bios and links to bios were not made available when this announcement was sent from national.
That's not fair. If they're
I make a
asking for
motion that we
on it.
abstain.
I second. This was Shay.
Yeah, I second it. Yeah.
Who made the motion?
Me, Linda.
Who seconded?
Jay Cook.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we had a second from Shay, and now we're having discussion. Go ahead.
So I'm not opposed to abstaining, but I wonder if it's worth having any discussion concerning a write-in if there's a volunteer.
I don't think there's a process for writing.
Okay.
And anybody know how this these set? I mean, were they elected or did they just volunteer or how did this seven come about?
I want to say at the national board meeting, they submitted their applications.
And we're not even having an election, but 7 people in 7 positions. What the heck?
I hear you.
I didn't like the Democratic Republican.
I suggest that we might want to consider creating a resolution for the 2026 national convention related to transparency around selection of candidates and availability of information about candidates for the branches.
Okay.
I will absolutely be supporting the motion that is just made that we abstain. This is so far from a transparent process, and to make it untransparent would require hours, maybe days of effort by our already overworked volunteers to get sufficient information. This is
All right. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion on the table regarding abstention, please raise your hand or say aye.
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 Okay. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 hands raised. A couple different ayes.
Aye.
This guy's back.
It can be simplified by asking if there's any opposition, and if there's no opposition, we can record this as carried without an opposition.
Any opposition? Raise your hand, please.
I oppose.
We got one in opposition on GP. I'm seeing hands go down, I believe.
They're timing out.
Okay. Okay. Noting that we only have one in opposition, motion carries, and we shall be abstaining from sending any vote regarding these names, and identifying ways to improve the transparency of the process. Thank you. So I appreciate you all. We will let the secretary will transmit our abstention to the national board, and that will complete our business of the day. Is there any new business that needs to be added? Go ahead.
I have some new business, Stephen. This is Jennifer Sell. I was wondering if the executive committee had a chance to talk about the immigration petition that some community members will be sending to the AACPS Board of Education.
We have not. Can you speak about it?
So basically, the Anne Arundel County Public Schools guidance right now on what to do if ICE is at a school is very lacking. I know as an educator within AACPS, I feel very uncomfortable because there's not really very clear guidance on what to do. The guidance right now focuses specifically on ICE if ICE tries to enter a building, but we know that we have students and parents who are outside of our buildings during arrival and dismissal. We also have recess outside, and we also have athletic activities outside, not to mention field trips and things like that. And so there's no current guidance for what educators and administrators and just in general AACPS staff should do if ICE comes. Also, there aren't really clear guidelines on how AACPS should communicate out to the impacted community if ICE does come to school. Nothing if there is just local law enforcement, but there's not ICE activity, letting people know that that's the case. And then there's some very particular situations like at the school I teach at, they want us to take the students into Washington, D.C. for a field trip. We feel very unsafe doing so. And so we've been asking for, like, we don't get any additional training or any additional guidance on anything like that, despite the fact that we've been expressing our safety concerns. But just in general, as activity has certainly been ramping up in our neighboring counties, we just want to ensure that our local community feels that their children are safe in our schools, and also that they are safe when they are doing drop off and pick up or are visiting the school or anything like that. And the petition is asking AACPS to create Know Your Rights training for staff within the school system, and to also develop a more comprehensive guidance and communication plan so that community members know what's happening at our schools, because there's just a general, among a lot of our community members, there's a lot of fear over their students and families being safe in the vicinity of a school building right now.
So is there something you want us to approve?
Yeah, so there's an actual petition. I can pull up the link and put it in the chat.
And,
Well, I regard this as a highly important topic. I believe NAACP policy is that should go to the executive committee. This may be akin to our earlier vote. That's a policy comment.
Through it, wouldn't we?
we have a question from the audience here in the meeting. Abby Elcott, go ahead.
Jen, what is the deadline for deciding whether or not to be signing on for this? When is it going to be presented to the Board of Ed?
So we don't have a specific deadline right now, because we're also we've provided it to the some of our contacts within the local Hispanic community for them to review. Ultimately, the number one priority is for them to have adequate time for them to be able to review. But I think I've given in prior emails, asked people like by the end of the calendar year to get us some their idea to let us know if they want to participate. I don't know when the next NAACP Executive Committee meeting would be.
Thank you.
Judge Barber, you were saying?
I was just saying that I would have to read this before I'd be able to vote on it. Can we, so if we move this or table this to our next executive committee meeting, would that be something that would work for everybody? Or is that something, President Waddy, that we could do?
The next executive committee meeting is scheduled for the 14th of January.
Is that too late?
Can I just say, I don't want to preempt you, Claudia. I just want to say that I don't see any reason that we can't, because of the need of being acutely, I read through the document. I don't see anything that's objectionable. It's kind of low level. I think independently, we should, as the NAACP, author a statement on this issue in support of the entire county that goes to the point that I just threw in the chat, which is if they're acting with a warrant, that's legal, and if they're not acting with a warrant, there was no reason to comply. We go through this at the hospitals all the time. And this is the stance that the hospitals have taken in the state.
And that is what AACPS does provide in their guidance. It's just a piece of paper that they, kind of put on their website. We haven't received any training or anything like that. And so it's not clear. Like if you haven't had training and you have law enforcement showing up at your building, then your initial gut instinct, just based on the way that and we know that AACPS does have majority white employees and very particular positions, those that are more high paying. So we do know that white people have been socialized to trust police and law enforcement and to let them into the building. And so without AACPS having additional training on how to follow the policy, specifically giving people opportunities to practice, what are they going to do if ICE shows up at their building and they aren't allowed to let them in, they have to have those higher standards. And so that's part of what we're asking for, is for some of that training. And the teachers union, TAC, we have started providing that Know Your Rights training to our members, but it's really not enough, and it really should be coming from AACPS because it's their responsibility to keep all of our students safe and also our staff. We have, employees of AACPS who are also at risk right now from ICE activity as well.
Again, I think this is a soft ask, and I think we should endorse it 100%.
Thank you. Okay, Abby?
Yeah, I have one more comment. I think without a clear Board of Ed policy, the way you're recommending, Jen and Dr. Gomez, it also puts teachers at risk if they try to intervene and they don't know what to do. And the current federal administration is calling that kind of activity domestic terrorism. So I think it is safer for all staff and educators and admin in the school system if they know what to do and there's clear policy.
Go ahead.
Maybe I missed something, but have we had an opportunity to review it?
No, I mean, we're just discussing it. So if we get the opportunity, one, it's already linked in the chat for people to review, but I'll send it around as well from our minutes of this discussion for executive committee members to review it, and then we can vote on that. Hopefully we can vote on it before the next executive committee meeting online. And get the opportunity to discuss that. Thank you for bringing it up, Jen. And the other side of this is that students are not attending school for fear of ICE taking their family away or being taken away. So it's been a major reason why the schools need to make a push towards having this type of policy implemented, especially for the teachers. So it's something that we can do. And we all seen how Chicago is experiencing this exact issue, and it doesn't just occur to Latinos. It's making racial profiling for people who quote unquote look Hispanic, but it is, they raided ICE raided a apartment complex where there was supposed to be some quote unquote Venezuelan drug dealers, but there were none, and it was just Black people who the owner wanted to get out. And so like that is the experience of, just being on the other side of racist administration. So that's something that, we all have to consider. I know people may consider Black people to be wholly separate and distinct from what Latinos or Hispanics are going through, but that is not totally true. And hopefully we can work together to achieve a sense of normalcy and unbiased policing together. So,
Stephen, just one last comment and then I'll be done. The goal is to have a multiracial coalition in the lead role of this petition. So we'll also open it up for general signature to the public as well. But I really think this is an opportunity, going off of what Stephen just said, of really showing solidarity among all the groups that have been impacted by situations like this, just in general in the history of the United States. So, and I do think that NAACP is a big player in that area. And so that's, to me, really important that we do show that multiracial coalition standing around the most impacted communities right now, so that we can not only use it to ensure people are safe right now, but also to build on that in the future.
I hear you, and I mean, I could hear some black people in my head saying, "What about us when it comes to the police? And what about us when it comes to et cetera, X, Y, and Z on racial profiling?" So I understand those arguments as well, and hopefully we can build that same multiracial coalition around these various other issues when it comes to driving while black and walking while black and everything else. And so I know that that's part of this discussion as well. So, especially when it comes to hiring, like you said, of black people in the administrative positions within the county. So, we'll look over this and have our vote during the offline. And since it is 12:13, I do appreciate everyone coming on the call. And if you have to go do some last minute shopping for your family and friends, please do so and stay off of Amazon. And can I get a motion to adjourn? Go ahead.
It's clarification for the dates that have been set for 2026.
Yeah.
Does that have to go through the executive committee, not recommending?
It doesn't. It does not. So, but you know, we got our thank you again. April, May, and June, and Glen Burnie at Empowering Believers. And we have been graciously hosted here at the American Legion for the past year and change. Yes, I got you. And I'm not going, that's all I got to say. Ain't got nothing else to say. Thank you all.
Move to adjourn, Mary Dodoni. Is there a second?
I second.
Second.
Move to wish everybody a Merry Christmas before we
Merry
adjourn.
Christmas. Thank you. Happy New
Happy
Year.
holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays. Take care.
Thank you. And feel better, everybody who's sick, please. Move to feel better.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Amen. Have a good evening. Good afternoon. Thank you. Hour. 8
It is awkward.
Because the sign says these hours.
Well, you want to sign a few more checks for me?
Okay.
I got like 3 sides. We never know who's gonna want money.
I'm here.
All right.
Some
of them are already signed.
I got you. I cannot find my charger for my computer that I took to the thank you for bringing it to me.
Yeah. Get over here.
I'm glad I mentioned it. I know. I showed up and left.
Oh, that. Yeah. I second because I had other stuff to do, but it sounds like it went pretty well.
It went well. We missed Abby Ellicott. At the
Legislative